I think a lot of students actually raised concerns that a lot of these projects were done to win some kind of recognition or award, especially at this age, since many people are trying to get a scholarship. I'm Josiah Teo. I'm 17 years old from Hwa Chong Institution. I was 15 and in secondary 4 when I first started volunteering for Habitat. I was first introduced to this Habitats organization by my senior. It's not very often you get to see these houses in Singapore because most people would assume that Singapore is actually a very prosperous and modernized city. So currently what Singapore government does is increase Singapore's economic prosperity before redistributing it. So far, I think the government has been really effective in growing our economic pie, but we haven't really managed to redistribute the money fully to help those underprivileged sections of our societies. The first quality that a volunteer should have is resilience, especially when we clean these houses. It can be quite hot and stuffy in there, and I think we need to empathize with the people living there to put ourselves in their shoes and see things from their perspective so that we can make the best contributions to them. So my typical day of volunteering would start at 7:15 AM, depending on cluster of one-room HDB flats are normally around Chinatown or Farrer Road.
Where can we go? When?
We will find our Habitat mentors or colleagues, so we will collect the logistics from them and distribute it among our team volunteers. So the household we'll be helping today, there are actually 2 residents living inside and they are actually husband and wife. The elderly man is the main breadwinner and the wife is actually pretty frail.
我是爱好湾，今年70多岁，跟我先生住在这边20多年了。以前我有做，我跌倒那个腰骨我休息了，没有去做了。我们2个人一起收了，因为我跌倒没有去做了。
And the unit itself, it's a one-room flat. It's actually partitioned into a bedroom as well as a living room. My first impression of the house that I was serving today is the elderly residents are actually quite friendly, because when we needed to move some of their belongings outside because we were afraid that it might get dirty in the process of painting, they actually agreed for us to take their belongings outside. So in the flats, we will do our work, paint or seal any gaps in the wall to prevent bed bugs. I would like to tell people of my generation to look out as they walk around Singapore, because Singapore actually has many social problems. We as youth, we have less experience because we have been obviously in this world for a shorter time. I think many of these youths are sincerely passionate and want to help. When they actually have this technical training and they know what to do, they can actually do things well and not cause more damage. What can be done would be to expose youth to more of these social causes, even though we can't enforce and ensure that everyone has sincere motivations. But at least we know that there's a greater likelihood that more people will contribute to these social causes from the bottom of their heart. At the end of the day, I would feel very tired, which is understandable due to the long hours of volunteering. But I think I would also feel very fulfilled, because sometimes you can actually see it on the residents' faces. They are very satisfied with what we have done and we actually have made a difference.